Okay, guys, today I wanted to talk just a little bit about the power of real estate and really try to share it just from some of my personal experience and how real estate truly can be the best asset class when it comes to investing, or one of them, right? I think it's always important to be diversified, but real estate should definitely be a big part of everyone's portfolio when it comes to just creating wealth and generating wealth and creating more freedom. And so today I'm going to actually talk a little bit about some of these properties which I've purchased over the years that have really helped me generate some cash flow. It's also allowed me to gain a good amount of appreciation and equity in a number of properties, and just want to kind of dig a little deeper by actually sharing firsthand experience of what I have experienced. And of course, there's lots of pros, but there's also some cons to investing in real estate, right? But I definitely think obviously the pros outweigh any of the cons. And so I'm gonna sit back a little bit here and just go over some of this. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. But basically, right around 2019, 2020, I started to invest a bit more heavily in investment properties. And as you can see, just from this whiteboard, is basically 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, I was, basically just buying properties. And most of them were in the mid 150 range to 200K range, but then also purchased a place in Utah by the lake, which was closer to 450. Purchased a property in Ontario, 500, that we added a couple ADUs to it. And so that one was obviously higher here in California. But you can see a few different price points here. And in total, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different properties, one being a duplex. And then, of course, I don't have my weekend property and also my primary on here. But really wanted to just review this just a little bit to give you guys a little bit more depth and, again, just the true power of real estate. Over here you can see that in 2019, the first investment property that I purchased was in Memphis, Tennessee, and that one I purchased at 160. It's now worth 260, right? And so over a period of about 5 years, it's appreciated by roughly $100,000. And then just kind of going down each and every property here, I'll just go in, from top to bottom. Purchased at 250, now worth about 450. 450, 750, 180, 300, 160, 260. Citrus Springs duplex 220, now worth about 350. 170, 340, 240, 300. Of course, that one's a bit more recent. 500 worth about 800. 180 worth about 200. And so as you can see, once I added all of that up, and that's purchase price and the value. And so basically 2.5 million was the purchase, and they're currently sitting at about 4 million. And this doesn't include the 25% down that I put down each time. So, in terms of mortgages and stuff, probably closer to 2 million in mortgages, and then paying it down a little bit, it's probably closer to 1.8 million or so. But the cool thing, and what I really want to share about this is, this is only in about 3, 4, 5 years, right? It's appreciated without me having really to do much beyond just having management companies manage them. It's appreciated 1.5 million on total purchase price of 2.5 million, right? And as I think a lot of us know, typically real estate appreciates somewhere around that 7-8% or so historically on average, and doubles every roughly 10 years. And so we can just say in about 5 years, things were pretty good and were pretty hot, like back in the 2020, 21, 22 years, to where it did appreciate more than that 7-8%. But 10 years from now, it's currently worth 4 million. In another 10 years, it's probably going to be worth 8 million, right? Because, assuming that historical averages continue, it's going to double in the next 10 years, meaning 2035, it's going to now be worth $8 million worth of real estate. And if I purchase them all at 2.5, now we're talking about 6.5 million in net worth, with which, of course, there's many things you can do with that, whether it's refi, pay them off over time, create additional cash flow, doing different things like that. But also obviously pulling money out if needed. And not only that, during that 10-year period, you have tenants paying down those mortgages, right? So it's not going to stick at the 1.82 million that you have in mortgages. Now in 10 years, that's going to probably be let's say 1.3 million, maybe 1.2 million or so in terms of mortgages, and therefore you're going to continue to increase your net worth because they're getting paid down and the properties are appreciating. But that's not it, guys. And this is the power of real estate. Then we factor in the fact that these cash flow currently in total, you can see over here on this line, maybe you can't see it super well, but total cash flow today, we're probably looking at somewhere pretty close to 7,500 with all of these properties. Most of them long terms. I've got one short term that hasn't been doing that great, but it's still, cash flow is a bit not significant. Certain years it's done a lot better than others. But let's say 7,500, that's pretty conservative average, is the cash flow. So on top of paying down the mortgages and on top of the appreciation, I have the cash flow coming in of 7,500 on top of what is already being used to pay off or pay the monthly payments, right? And the cool thing about that is you could essentially live off of that money. In my case, I basically use it to pay for my first and second, or my first and second properties, meaning my primary and my beach property in Carlsbad. That basically covers it all, and that's rad, right? Like, it covers all of my mortgage expenses because I started to invest more heavily in real estate. And that is truly the power of real estate, guys. It's the fact that you're not only making money in the appreciation, which historically speaking, we're talking decades and decades of consistency, of consistent appreciation, but you're also going to have paying down the mortgages by your tenants paying the rent and the mortgages. And then you also obviously have the cash flow on top of that. And so that is truly the power of real estate. And guys, we're not even talking about actually like the tax incentives of real estate. That's a whole nother ballgame. That's allowed me to save tens of thousands of dollars. And if I were to add it up over the last few years, I've been able to save well into the six figures in terms of taxes. And so that is really the power of real estate. It's not just one dimensional where you're just earning some money via appreciation, or you're earning from cash flow, or you're paying down your mortgages, or the tax. Like, you're basically making money in 4 different ways. That's the way we can create wealth, greater net worth, and also create freedom over the long run, right? Like, over the next few years, it may not be that amazing to think you may only get a few $100 or whatnot. But when you start thinking long term, 10 years, 20 years down the line, when these numbers are gonna continue to double and appreciate, that gets significant. So anyway, that's one thing I wanna share today. Basically just share really quick, kind of going over my situation. If you guys have any questions, or if you like to jump on a call or set up a meeting to where we can talk about investing in real estate and how you can leverage real estate to increase your net worth and basically just grow a portfolio, whether it's long-term investing, short-term, or even ADUs, things of that nature, where you're buying a property and adding ADU, hit me up. I'd love to help you guys. That's one of my big focuses this year, is that I want to help people create greater wealth through real estate. And not only just through real estate, but other ways too. But of course, working in real estate, that's one of the things that I love the most. And so anyway, let me know if you'd like to talk about it a little deeper and how we can help strategize and put together a plan to help you. All right, have a great day, and thanks for tuning in, guys. Of consistent appreciation. Sorry, my daughter just did that.